I don't know if I'm even audible. Hmm. Mic check 1 2 1 2 test 1 2 1 2. We've been on. Hello, is this thing on? Ding 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 ding. Somebody talk to me. Come on. Cab over culture. Anyone. Anyone. Anybody in the house. Come on. I just said cab over culture and you come on. It's like magic. Boom, like that. Sweet. They can hear me. That's awesome. Okay, cool. I'm just testing this out on this laptop. This old Dell we have is a Windows 7. I'm just checking it out because I've never really gone live or I don't really use the laptop that much. My girlfriend had this and I use this to kind of do editing and stuff. It's kind of cool, but just thought I'd check in instead of using the phone and see what you guys are doing right now. I'm not working. I just got back from a drug test, the random. Insurance is like, nope, you got to go. I'm like, ugh. It's all good though. Jerron Jure, huh? Interesting. Nice. Trucking with Edward. Loud and clear. Thanks, buddy. Where's my Troqueros del Este? Who, by the way, thanks a lot, man. Shout out to Troqueros del Este. I love saying that. It just sounds smooth, right? He's on Instagram. He put up a bunch of pictures of the Low Star today or this morning. Much props to him, man. He loves the truck. Thank you so much for watching the channel too, as well, and thank you everybody else that's watching the channel. And thank you anyone that's not watching the channel, right? No, I don't know how that works. So just checking this thing out. Cool. Looking at these features. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, Mike, what do you? So what's going on with you getting with the license and everything so far, Mr. Cab Over Culture? What's going on with your status quo, getting out of that class B and getting the class A and all that and trying to drive? Have you found a company yet? What are you doing? Talk to me. Waiting on him to answer. There we go. Yeah, but so did you get your class A? You've got endorsements, all that good stuff. You're like ready to rock and roll. And then now hopefully somebody will hire you, even though you don't really have class A experience, or you know how insurance companies don't want you to be like so many months or a couple years in. What have you come across any issues trying to get a job now that you've moved up from class B to class A? Is I guess what I'm trying to ask. Mr. FLD 120, what's up, brother? I love that truck too, man. My God, that FLD. I gotta get me one, man. I just when I leave California, the commie state, I am gonna get an FLD. I wanted a 96, 95 mid roof, twin stacks. It's the only way to go, man. Only way to go. I'm telling you, 13 speed, slammed with the. I may do 275 70 on the tires instead of the 255s that we normally run. D Max Windows up at Barstow today. So if you guys are up there at the TA, he's probably asleep now, but he'll be up there in the California Condor, chilling up until probably late tonight. He had a whole bunch of problems throughout the day, man. But it's all good. I think he's got them fixed. Tire issues, derating issues on that CRST truck of his. So I think he got it all fixed up. I think, hopefully. Um, so let's see. Class A with what? Hold on. Damn pop-ups. All right. No problem, FLD. Class A with tanker and double. So you have what I have. That's cool. So I wish I could go haul some tankers for Arrowhead, man. Seriously, like I miss doing that when I was with Direct. I would haul tankers and the water tankers. We go up to the spring. So the only spring I went up to was if you take Waterman north of the 210 up there in San Bernardino. As soon as you go up the road starts to curve off and go up into the canyon and whatnot. And there's a school or something on the right side. As soon as you pass that, if you look down below in the ravine, there's like a spot where you'll see two water tanker or two pump stations that are there that bring that water from Lake Arrowhead. It's really cool, man. You load up like 6,500 gallons of water in those Arrowhead tanks, and we used to take that down to this customer. They had a big bulk tank of they store the water. I'm trying to remember the name of the place. They do fruit. They make fruit juices and stuff, but they're in San Bernardino, right off Waterman. So you just go up and down the road all day long. We would load water. It takes about 25 minutes to load the water up and then drain it in the tank when you got down to San Bernardino. So that was a cool gig. Arrowhead doesn't well, they're Blue Triton now. They're not Arrowhead anymore. So I don't even know I don't know if they're hiring on for that or not. I'd have to ask Sean McClintock over on Instagram. He's been with them forever, and he hauls the water tank to San Diego and stuff sometimes. So I'm not sure. Where are we at? I gotta learn how to scroll like Nick doesn't. I seen the CRC truck early in the morning today. He was heading to Vegas, but then I guess his def tank light came on, kind of like the problem I had on my Low Star. It started coming on, and then it started derating, and he was able to get to Barstow. Then he had a flat on the trailer, then another couple nails in the truck. So he took a picture of this guy up there. It's a badass Peterbilt red. It's like flat black red, like red roof and everything. It used to be a car hauler. They took all the framework off the car hauler off the chassis on the truck and made it just a regular fifth wheel car hauler trailer, which is pretty badass. So it's all set up on the drop axle on low pros. It was like slammed on the floor with half fenders. It looked pretty sick. So go to D-Max Window on his Instagram. He made a video about it, and you guys will see it on there. So it's pretty cool. Arrowhead has some beautiful tankers. Yeah, so see, there's only about, I think there's only about 8 guys that are left there. Everybody else is new. They have a few, I think they're leasing trucks from Penske or Ryder or something. I don't even remember. But yeah, they're not really, and there's only, I think 5 or 6 tanker guys. Some go up to the Crest Canyon at Angeles Crest. They go up there and get the water up there too, and then they'll take it over to LA, something like that. And then the Cabazon Arrowhead that y'all pass on the 10 out there at Cabazon, the big warehouse out there, they actually get their water from it's an underground spring, I think an aquifer or whatever they call it. So that actually comes down north of in the reservation area up there, but it's all piped in, so they don't use tankers as much. Now, if they're having a problem with the water source or it's low, then they'll bring a few tankers to come in and fill the big tanks in the back of the warehouse. But it's rare I ever saw those guys over there. But yeah, hauling tanks, Ceja, man, up in Northern Cal, Central Cali. CEJA, they got some pretty badass Cascadias, a 660 Kenworth. They're all lowered and stuff, and they haul like bulk tanks and what. They haul water tanks as well. In fact, I think they actually have, if I'm not mistaken, Arrowhead used to have a tanker that had red. It was red. It was like the frame was red, the fenders were red, and they used to have like it was their show trailer. Now they only have the blue one left. But that red one, I don't think Ceja bought that one, but they mimicked one of their trailers to look like that because it has the same red tone to it. It looks pretty badass. It's all fixed up. It says Ceja, CEJA on the back. Those guys are really cool. Every time I go to Northern California on the 99 or 5, they're always up there running around and stuff. Real cool guys. Real cool company. Let's see. What are you guys doing? Ceja trucks are sick. Yes, sir. Bro, I want to drop my FLD like you did. Yours, do I have to shim the axle? I think on the FLDs, on the older trucks, yes, you do have to put a shim. So there's like a 3-degree. It's called a 3-degree shim. So it starts off real narrow. It's like a tapered wedge, right? It's usually aluminum, and they made them factory. A lot of most factory trucks have them. So what they do is they put it from behind. So the thin part goes in from behind. So if you're behind the axle, the thin part would go in underneath the spring and down on the axle. And then it would kind of come up about I think a 3-degree comes up about a third of an inch, quarter of an inch, something to that effect. You put it in there, and what it does is it turns the axle this way and leaves the leaf spring straight like this. And but when it turns that way, it also turns it makes the transmission and your engine kind of lean back a little bit to balance out those drive shafts. Kind of like we used to do with mini trucks back in the day, Chevy dualies. It's the same concept, but you can shim it. My truck, I don't have to because I'm on low pros. If I was running those stock tires, I'd probably have to shim it just because I'd have that. I get that rake like this, but because I dropped the bags 2 inches in the back with the leveling valve and brought it down because International sits so high, there's so much distance and travel in the rear ends, and they sit up high at stock that I dropped it and brought it down by bending the rod down a little bit. I think we bent it, kept bending it to where at least the top of the frame was just above the 255/70 tires. That brought it down roughly 2 inches. But the truck doesn't realize it's lowered because everything's in sync with each other. So I don't have, people ask me all the time, weren't you afraid the yokes are going to get, bent or the shaft? No, it's actually almost in its same factory position as it was when it was on the low pros or when it was on stock tires without even dropping it. The truck doesn't really know the difference. But when you're doing stock tires and you have that rake, which you will do when you pull the blocks out in the front, you're going to have that problem. And I think shimming is probably a good idea. It's not going to hurt much. If anything, it'll help your alignment out for sure. But it'll definitely help out where I think it really helps out is on the main shaft on the transmission. So when you got the yoke at the tranny, what happens is you can if you don't have those shims in there and it's not turned this way, it's going to bind right here. It'll turn, but you're going to wear out that bearing inside. And I think that's what to answer your question on FLDs. Yes, I would do that because especially the way Detroits are mounted, I think they're taller motors than today's motors. So just standard. I don't remember that we ever did that back when we started lowering big rigs. Gardner had a couple FLDs that were lowered, but I don't recall them putting shims or if they didn't do it. So I'm not sure. I wasn't there at the time when they did that. But that's a great question, and yeah, it doesn't hurt to shim the front end. You can shim it whether you think you need it or don't need to. It's probably a safer bet anyhow. Let's see. Come on. What's up, Ryan? How you doing, man? Ryan, Mr. Mike's son. Come on. I get a lot of kids that do that. They're all, come on. They were doing that at the Ontario show too. It's funny. Looking on Indeed for a job. Huh. I've never been on Indeed, so I don't I've never been on Indeed, I don't think, to look for a job or anything. So I'm not sure. It's tough right now. I know that companies are starting to back off. I know Amazon right now is going to start laying off 10,000 employees within I think this last quarter of the year. So by the time January hits, they're going to start on the East Coast. Now I don't know if 10,000 is. I'm assuming as a whole, as an entity, but they're going to start, and I think that's mostly warehouse workers. So in the fulfillment centers, those are going to be people that are going to be laid off, and they might even do more. But yeah, as far as the Amazon drivers, I don't know for sure if they're hiring, not hiring. Me and Mark did see some sleeper truck Amazons sitting at the pilot over on Etiwanda the other day, or on Friday when we were there with the Amazon trailers. And I was surprised because I didn't know they had sleeper trucks. I thought they were all day cabs with those, LNG or CNG boxes in the back. But yeah, I don't know if they're going to lay those guys off or not. So I'm not really sure. But yeah, the market's tough for, especially coming in as a newbie for a driver. Unless you're set up by the mega carriers and you're under contract with them, then you have it's a for sure bet you're gonna have a job. But trying to go solo on your own to get with a small mom and pop company, so to speak, or at least a smaller LLC company, it's probably tough in the game right now, as much as it is for owner ops trying to pull freight even from some of them carriers as well. So I don't know. It's a crazy market right now. Yeah, over the road sucks, dude. Like, somebody has to do it, right? I mean, I can't speak for everyone. I mean, I did it. I mean, I've been driving since '96. I started my first year with Swift, was hired on by Swift, went a full year. Then I rolled their truck over in Albany, Oregon, and when I was training, I was dead tired, man. They had me out there. Whew, and I thought my career was over for driving. Came home, and then in the '90s, I just went to the white pages or whatever. I started. I had heard people say if you want to try to get a job in the sand and gravel industry, it's probably pretty easy, especially being a newbie with a license, right? Because you could go drive a dump truck, concrete ready mix, and they'll train you. And I'm like, all right. So at the time in the '90s, I'm over there looking, I'm making phone calls. Finally, one of the pits over in Irwindale, the lady hooks me up. She's like, "We're not hiring per se." I think it was Robertson's or All American or something. I can't remember, or even in Vulcan. But she's like, "We're not hiring right now, but let me give you a guy's number. He does our mechanics. He's like a mobile mechanic that comes out and services our trucks. He has like 5 or 6 of his own trucks, so maybe you can connect with him." Called him up. His name was Steve Adams. Great guy. He had this old Doritos. It was an old Doritos GMC van that he used for his shop. You know, kind of look. He had everything in there. He had everything in there. He used to own a shop, and he got rid of it, put it all in this thing, and went mobile. And I mean, it was just great. I mean, he gave me a job. All his internationals were or all his transfer trucks, the dump trucks were all international 4300s, Eagles. And he goes, "Kid, I'm going to tell you this right now. First thing, this is the only thing you need to do. I don't care what you do and while you're here, this is the only thing, the most important thing you need to do. Come in every morning, pop the hood open, do your pre-trip, and take this gallon of oil jug right here and go fill it up on the drum right there. Pump it in there, fill it to the brim, go in there and fill it up on the engine. Don't pull the stick out, don't look at it. Just put a gallon of oil in it every day. That's all you got to do. Close the hood and get the hell out of here." I'm like, "What?" And they were Detroit. They were Silver 692 motors. Because they were what, 78 transfer, 1978, 1980, 81. He had quite the variety. He loved them internationals, which I wound up loving and wound up learning how to polish. That's where I started polishing, was learning there. Plus, I worked at Zimmerman Truck Stop back in the day in over in Whittier off of Peck Road right there in the 605. So I had learned a little bit of polishing there while I was washing trucks, but I really learned it on my own when I was with Steve Adams after that. Then a couple of years later, I got my own truck, a guy that I had a 66 Peterbilt butterfly hood, 351A model. It had a Cummins 335 small cam in it. And then, of course, we lowered that too. I'll never forget. That was on 24s. I remember pulling the blocks out. We used to go to Irwindale. There was a spring shop over on Irwindale Avenue, just north of Arrow Highway, right above where the AM/PM was. It was, I think it was Irwindale Spring or R&R Spring Shop. I can't remember. But we'd go in there, and he would de-arch the springs, pull them apart because it was a 3-leaf pack in the front, all this other stuff. So I don't even know how I got into this whole story. Mike, it's all your fault. Cab over stuff. Come on. Yeah, good times though. But back in the day, that's how I got a job as a newbie, not knowing anything, not having to work for Swift and Swift let me go, of course, duh. But yeah, quite scary back in the day. I was 24 at the time. So trying to see where it tells me how many of you are on or not, or weird. I'm trying to learn the computer stuff, man. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I can't really. It's not letting me scroll through the comments. That's weird. Huh. Okay. I guess we can't. So. Okay, cool. At least you're listening. At least I know it's still working, right? Yeah, I'm trying to see where the totals are. Like, how many of you guys are watching or not watching or whatever. Let's see. Oh, okay. See, I can't see that. I can't see that, Edward. So, trucking with Edward says there's 7 viewing. I'm trying to see where that's at up here. Must be this bunk ass Dell computer. Dude, you're getting a Dell, bro. Oh, there it is on the left corner. It's right where. Okay, so on the live where it says live and how many minutes we've been on, right there in the corner. It's all, but my Windows. Yeah. See, my Windows covering it. Okay. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks for the thumbs up, the like too. Please hit that like button. I don't know why YouTube likes that algorithm, but you hear everyone, ooh, hit the like button, hit subscribe. So let's see. Where's Nick? So Nick, I was watching. Oh, Nick Velox. Ow! So he was. I watched his latest video today. He was surprisingly going to. I think he said he was going to Florida, which Florida on the normal sucks coming out of there. But I noticed Justin wound up getting a load down there too. So I wonder what Justin's doing. He's probably leaving there by now, but Florida Truck Riders, another good guy on YouTube. Cool guy. He's got that Trumpy Express truck. It's the green Peterbilt. You guys know, I mean, he's all in trees all the time. He's always hauling something like that, but he's out of, it's weird. I don't know if he's out of Texas or he's out of Florida. Oh, well, he's Florida because it's FL Truck Riders. So, but he deadheaded, I think last week out of, I think it was Orlando. From Florida, he deadheads all the way to Louisiana to grab a load just to go to Texas. That's how bad it was trying to get something out of Florida. So anybody in Florida, that's got to suck. I mean, seriously. And Florida's a nice state. It is, but I guess one of those nice places to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there type of things, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Then again, they got a good governor, so maybe I would. No, I don't want to update. I just want you to close. All right. So Just Trucking, there he is. So just talking about it. And Just Trucking, I love Justin, man. He's talking about know your worth. There's no BS. You can't get more definitive than that. Know your worth. There's a lot of loads this week. I was like looking at, I'm not taking them. And I bid high. We go on the Truck Smarter app, just like Justin says, go on Coyote's app, and then you'll see a difference in price range. And then you go up there and you're like, no, I'm not doing that for that. Not doing for that. I want to get it for at least this, or at least meet me halfway. There's some brokers where I think last week, we were over here negotiating $25 difference. And the guy's like, dude, it's just $25. I'm like, it's $25 that you're going to take out of me on the quick pay, because it's 3% if I want to do you guys a 1 to 3 payout. So that's $25 we're arguing about that I could get paid quicker for. So see, sometimes a broker doesn't understand why we're just nitpicking these little prices. Every little thing counts. Every little dollar counts. So it makes no sense to sit here and put yourself down. Like Justin says, know your worth. I mean, there's no stronger words than that, seriously, because I had a guy. We took that load. There was a guy that made a comment on my last video about how, oh, you're the reason why you're taking cheap freight and blah blah blah. Because me and Mark, to start up with Amazon, we took a load out of LA, out of the BNSF yard, and took it out to Beaumont for $250. Yeah, the rate sucked totally, but I was heading home that way anyways, and I wanted to get my feet wet. It was a way to learn how to get into the rail yards, how to get all that electronic data system, the QR codes, get all signed in with them, and then get my feet wet, so to speak. So is this something I'm doing all the time? No. I mean, I still have my dry van, but the fact that he made a comment about just because I took a load for $250, well, there was a reason. I paid for the fuel because I was going to go home anyway. Same with Mark. So it's feast or famine, right? But it's not something that, like Mark did one last night. He did another load out of BNSF rail yard in LA. Same thing, but he only went to, I think, Rialto for I think it was like $300. He got it for a little more. So you just got to keep watching the Amazon load or the Amazon load board. It's actually pretty cool, but they're not paying nothing. I think the average is $1.50 a mile right now. It sucks. Even for local, San Bernardino to San Diego, or even San Bernardino to Oxnard, they're only paying $250. That's ridiculous. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it for anybody. And you don't know if you're getting an empty trailer. You don't know if you're going to get a loaded container one, and that's even worse. Even go to Bakersfield, they're only paying, I think it was 282, 350. Nah, man, nah. But like I live over here by Poway. I'm like maybe 40 minutes. There's a thing where you can go down and load out of Poway, a live load with my 48 trailer, go down at Amazon because they're only going to put half the trailer in and take it to Otay Mesa for $350. Then when I'm in Otay Mesa, reload there and come right back up. It's going to be 350, but at the end of the day, it's still the dollars and cents add up a little bit. But would I do that every day or count on that? No. No, I still hit these brokers hard every morning. I'm constantly every 15, 20 minutes researching them, refreshing them, and trying to get the load that I want to get because there's always that last minute load that pops up. And it's that roll of the dice where you're like, come on, seventh, boom. But sometimes it's snake eyes too. So you just got to play the game, man. That's how it is. And Justin will tell you. Justin does tell you. That's what's great about his channel. He's a very informative guy. He lets you know how this industry is working, how the business is working. Is Justin is he like, this master of, trucking? He knows everything? No, but he's done it a while and he knows enough when he's being a sucker punched or when there's something that's not right, then he's going to let us know about it. And I think that's what's cool about his channel. So much props to you, Justin. Orlando to Clarksville, Tennessee for a load once. And how far was that? How far is Orlando to Clarksville? What is that? Is that is it what, around 800 miles? Maybe? I'm not really sure. Yeah, try not to take cheap freight. I mean, look, we're in a market right now of cheap freight. There's nothing we can do about it. So what the best thing I think that we can do, and this happened in 08 and 09, the same experience. I was living in Phoenix. Okay. I moved to after my let me back up and let me go back to the dump truck thing. After I had my transfer, I got a divorce from my first wife, right? In 2000, July of 2000, I moved with an old school buddy of mine out. He was living out in Phoenix, and he's a truck driver as well. So I moved out there and I did the same thing, sand and gravel, because at the time I'd already been 4 or 5 years invested in it. I sold my truck, got rid of it, moved out there, lived there. Then I got out of sand and gravel at around 2003, 4-ish. Got into it with a tow truck company. I was hauling for Western Towing out in Phoenix. They were owned by Road One out here in San Diego, and that was a great job. I was there till 2008, I think. Yeah, 2008. And then the economy crashed or the recession hit, and then of course they started laying people off. They couldn't afford it. We were paying out. They were paying us as heavy wrecker land haul guys. We were getting paid hourly. We weren't paid by the load. So sometimes it was beneficial when we weren't doing nothing. It was great. When we were busy, typically you get paid more because you're getting paid more per hook up and hook and tow and all that stuff. But long story short, so when the recession hit, there was nothing in Phoenix. There's hardly anything there as it is, right? It's kind of like Vegas. And I had met a guy through the towing company, Donnie, and he had hit me up. He's like, bro, I'm going to take my family. We're going to move out to Dallas. My wife's family lives out there. Her dad owns he's like the salesman of a dealership, blah, blah, blah. But the freight's moving in Texas at the time. In 08, 09, the only freight market was really Texas. So we get out there, not knowing anybody, not knowing anything. We hit this one dude up, Brad Mitchell. We found him on, I think we drove, I forget how we got a hold of the guy. Someone led him to us. He was hiring, and we wound up working for him. And we were loading like Campbell soups going up to so for Denny, I think it was Campbell or Denny, it was Denny's. So Denny's, right? We were loading the bulk soup out of Mansfield, Texas, and we were taking that to Forest City, North Carolina, to the plant up there. We were basically taking the ingredients for the soups, so produce, you name it, right? And then we were taking it up to Forest City. Then they would process it, and then they would ship it out and send it for all the Denny's stores. So all the soups that are made were made out of Forest City, North Carolina. Beautiful place, love that place. Sorry. And anyway, so we wound up working, man. It was great. We had a job. I mean, it was rough, and then I wound up staying there, and it was Texas great. I plan on going back there maybe someday. I'm not sure yet. Might go back just to get out of this state. But again, one of those rough market times, and what do you do, right? But we were able to keep our head above water, and things got better and progressed. So I think we're going to see that here. But this time around, what's hurting the most, the market's just not there right now, because when you had all those ships and containers out in the ocean, what, about a year ago, less than a year ago, right? They were so stacked up that when they started offloading everything and they moved everything, a lot of it to Florida, the East Coast, they were moved out to like Galveston area, and they were starting to get everything, dispersed across the country. I think what happened was, and what's affecting us now is that the market, everybody has their product. Nobody really needs a lot of stuff. They're not desperate for any product right now. The stores have all their stuff, all the clothing's here, all the Christmas gifts, everything's here. So I think that's where we're in this problem of there's nothing being shipped because of this reason, because it sat out there so long that once it came in, we now have this overstock. And I think we're going to see this probably till next summer, until we even start getting to where it starts, the cycle of logistics again and transportation. But I may be wrong, maybe a little bit sooner, but I don't think so. I think we're gonna be riding this train until, if we can, until the summertime at least. And going back to 08, 09 in the recession days, that's kind of how it went down then. It was rough, man. And I wasn't even an owner operator then, and I knew guys that had their own trucks, and a lot of them held on, a lot of them sold them, just like we're seeing today. And the market was down low, and you know trailers were sitting there where you could get a trailer anywhere you wanted. Trailers were practically giving them to you, because nobody was there was no work for it. But will we see that again? I don't know. I'm not really sure. Always, Justin, man, always, man. And I saw your, so yeah. It's funny. Justin's talking about, um, knowing your worth, right? So Justin, on his bid, I loved his last video. So he's doing this $2,200 bid, right? And they come over here and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, we can't do that, because of this and that, this and that." And he's like, "Okay, well, it is what it is, but I'm not going to take a hit." I think they wanted to pay him like 1,900 bucks. At this point, the broker should have been like, "Look, we can't do 22, you know, 19 is where we're at, but we can try to meet you halfway." So I think if they would have told Justin, "Look, how about we do you around 21? We cool with that?" I think Justin would have been cool. But they don't do that. What they do is they lie, and they're like, "Oh no, man, we can't. We've had a lot of bids at that offer, and the lowest I think we were down. I think he said it was down to like 2,000, was 2,000, right?" And Justin knows his worth. And even though we're only talking a fine line of $100, that's $100, man. That's 17 gallons of fuel, 18 gallons, 20 gallons of fuel, right? And out, especially out where you guys are at. So, whatever. And then, not even 5 minutes, he hangs up. What does the broker do? And this is how stupid the broker is. They put it back up at $2,200. And he's like, "You just told me no." And so he calls them back, and they're like, "Yeah, somebody made a mistake. It's not at 2,200, only because it's him." So he negotiates a price of where he thought was comfortable. They're like, "No, no, 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 no," because they want to keep the money in their pocket, that extra couple $100, which is really what the negotiation is, right? And then they go, "Oh no, Justin's calling. Oh no, no, get rid of that load. No, 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 no. Shh, quiet. We're not doing it at 2,200. Something's wrong. There's a mistake there." And they think we're idiots. It's ridiculous, man. The games. And I used to, oh, by the way, when I was in Texas, working with Brad Mitchell, he was a broker for a company called Trinity Logistics. And Trinity had their own trucks. They were mostly East Coast. They were mostly reefers, and I think they were back. A lot of their customer base was back east, but they had an outfit in Burleson, which is where I live, Burleson, Texas, and he ran the office. And he had a couple dispatchers that were working with him. Great guys, and Yeah, so I kind of learned a little bit about the brokering game. I'm not no expert at it, but I've talked with Gabe, and Gabe, if you're watching, hi Gabe, Gabe from Coyote, uh, Gabe Baldivia, who's a great guy, always on top of his game. Sometimes he can give me the rate, sometimes he can't. Sometimes he fights to get me what I want, sometimes he doesn't. And he's just such a cool guy, and he's young and he's in this brokering industry, and it's tough for him too. It's tough for him to make money because at one point a couple weeks back he was like, I was on the phone with him, we're just talking and stuff. He was telling me he was watching Nick's video, and Nick also deals with Gabe now at Coyote. Justin, if you need somebody, by the way, Gabe Baldivia, at Coyote, get a hold of him or hit me up and I'll give you his number. Real cool cat. He's out of Colorado, but he's really cool. He always tries to deal firsthand. The minute I even look at a load on the app or the load board, he calls me up. The minute I put a bid in, boom, he calls me within 20 seconds. He's like, boom, hey, I think I can get you for this. I seen you're trying to get it. Let me see what I can do, blah, blah, blah. So he's a real cool guy. I've always dealt with Gabe, been dealing with him for a little over a year and a half. And he's the connection at Coyote. And I told him I was going to throw his name out there, which I have on my previous videos. Why? Because he's a cool cat. So why not work with him? And if he can help somebody else out at the same time. But a couple of weeks back, I did a load for him, and I was going to Imperial, did the load for Imperial out of San Diego. And he tells me, dude, this was on a Friday. There were only 250 loads across America on the Coyote board. That's it. Everything for Coyote, mostly here in California, at least SoCal where I'm at, everything's going out of state, and it's going out for $1.60, $1.70, stupid rates. But that's not on Gabe. It's not really on Coyote that much because they just don't have the customer base that's willing to pay a higher, because the customers know what the freight market is right now. So is it on the broker always? No. Do the brokers play games? Yes. But Gabe, at least with me, I've never felt that he's tried to pull a fast one or done anything like that. So I think he, as far as that goes, he can only do so much. He's just, he's the sales guy with Coyote. He's not even a sales dude. He's just a dispatcher. He can't really do that much because I'll hear him. He'll be over there talking to the sales guy who's in charge of the load that posted it, and Gabe will get the credit for it on the load because it's through me. I'm like his direct contact. So anytime I post a load, that load and the broker money goes, or his money goes right to him. It doesn't go to the sales guy at all. But Gabe will be over there arguing with the sales dude. Well, I don't understand why you're trying to do it. Just do it for this. Then he'll come back to me, and sometimes it's a win-win, sometimes it's not. 740. I was close. See, so Edward, I said 800 miles. I think it was about 800 miles out of Florida back up to Tennessee. Not bad. I haven't been out on the East Coast since the Texas days I was talking about earlier. But plays on freeways. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Come on. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Appreciate all you guys watching right now. My first live-ish video of YouTube. And just trying to, I'm bored, so I was kind of like, I am speaking of Coyote, so I booked a load, 2 days ago. So tomorrow at 1:00 in the afternoon, I'm going down to San Diego. I'm going to pick up some beer, take some Tecate beer again, and then it's out of Otay Mesa, and then come back home with it. And then it delivers in Lancaster on Thursday morning at 6:00. So I'm trying to find a load right now that'll get me to San Diego in the morning that pays me. I at this point, I don't even care what it pays. Just get me down there. And, I think I think I booked the load for I got it for $750 from Otay Mesa to Lancaster. Is it great? No, but it is. I think it was at just around $5 a mile. So in today's market, I'll do it. It's something to do because right now I'm not doing anything, right? So, but it's not cheap freight. I'm not taking it for $1.50. I'm not taking it for $2. So, but if I can get a load going down there in the morning, delivering in the morning, like water load, we haven't really had a lot of Niagara water loads from Uber lately. I don't know what's going on. I guess maybe they're just not busy, or they might have a carrier in there now. I think with Niagara. I think they kicked Gardner completely out, and I think they brought in a brand new carrier out of, I think it's Commerce. I forget their name, but I think they're handling most of the water loads, so they don't. Niagara doesn't need to book a third party, or yeah, Niagara. They don't need to book a third party anymore, which they typically used a lot with Uber because that was the bulk of my business last year when I started driving was mostly water loads. 90% of my work last year was all water coming out of Niagara, and I did it when I worked at Gardner back in the day. So I knew all the facilities, but yeah, Uber hasn't really had a lot of loads, and if they do, they're not paying hardly anything. Even Coyote they did have one load up there the other day, but yeah. But so I'm trying to find one that loads up tonight, delivers in the morning. Then I'll be down there at 1 o'clock tomorrow, load that up, come back home, see Mama, spend the night, get up early, shoot up to Lancaster before the traffic. Yeah, it's a win-win for me. And then just go from there, man. See what's up. Just play the field, so to speak, So where's a wrench? Okay, so how do we do wrenches? Let's see. Let me click on you. Maybe I click on you. Let me click on you and get a wrench. Oh my god. Here we go. Let me see. Ooh, what's this? Oh my god. Let's see what happens right here. I'm gonna have to ask Nick how to do these wrenches because I have no clue. Justin, Nick, how do you do these wrenches? Give everybody a wrench. Give everyone a wrench. It's just a tool, right? How do we give you a wrench? Put user in timeout. No, I don't want to do that. Ooh, add as a moderator. What? What does that mean? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to do the wrench. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Click on. No, I don't know. I'm gonna need Nick. I'm gonna need Mr. Nick Velox to help me out, or Justin. Roll with me one of these weekends. Yeah, dude, that'd be cool. Shit, I'll let you drive the Lodestar. It's easy, man. And if you smack the bumper, don't worry about it. I do it all the time, especially in the driveways. It's plastic, bro. Plastic Truck Mafia in the house. That's why we have spares. We borrowed them from Gardner, day cabs. In fact, my fairings on the Lodestar are actually off of a day cab from Gardner. Why? Because they were wrecked in the back, except for the side fairings. They were better than ones I had. And then we took some extra parts because, I needed extra bumpers, and my bumper folds down. It's one of the ones on the International that does. But yeah. Oh, Kirk, man. I'm gonna dread going live. It's not clean yet. Actually, I was gonna wash it yesterday, and then I'm like, I didn't have the trailer with me. So then I was like, the trailer needs it desperately. I haven't even done the trailer in so long. So I will you know what? I'll tell you what, Kirk. Tomorrow on the way back from Lancaster, I'll stop at Little Sisters. I'll get both of them washed. Sweet. We got a deal? Add moderator. Okay, I got you. Add a moderator. Oh my god. Add a moderator. Put Justin as. No, let's do Cab Over Mike because he asked first. Put you first, man. He's like, what? Ron, you don't love me, man? What's up? I support you the most. All right, hold on. Moderator. Add a moderator. Here we go. Ooh. There you go. Let's go down to Mr. Justin. Just in case I forget. All right, here we go. Hey, everybody. Don't you think Justin, by the way, Justin, I said this in one of my videos, I don't know, number 80 or whatever it was. I was singing along. I was singing Daughtry. And then I mentioned the fact that I thought, yeah, I think you do. You kind of look like a young Daughtry when he was on American Idol. Don't deny it. 'Cause Daci's awesome. Not nowadays. He's older, like he's got this older white stuff. But the way you have your beard, he had it that way in Idol, and Daci's just awesome. I don't even care who you are. Daci. I'm coming home to the place where I belong. We'll add Daci as a moderator. What do you think? Come on. Oh, and Justin, thanks for the shirt, man. It doesn't fit me yet. I got to drop some weight. But yeah, but thanks for the shirt at the show. And it was great meeting you and your wife, too. It was awesome. It was a cool show. It was cool. It was actually, this year's Ontario show was a lot. There was a lot more people than last year, for sure. So, oh, and Justin, by the way, I love that the Dodge Ram, dude, your old one. It's funny. Your story is kind of resembling of mine. So after I left Texas, I came back here. I moved back home. I came back to Southern California, and I needed some wheels because I sold everything I had in Texas, came back here, and whatnot. So back in the early 2000s, when I had my square door Peterbilt, my transfer, right, the butterfly hood, I had bought this. It was a Chevy Astrovan, a blue one. It was a 1985. We lowered it, put 17-inch Boyd wheels on it, blah blah blah. Sold the thing before I left and moved to Arizona. Okay. When I came back to California here, I moved back in 2012. I was working with Gardner. I'm on Craigslist one day, and there's a guy up in Hesperia that's selling an 85 Chevy Astrovan with a 2000 clip on it. So it had a newer clip. It had shaved door handles and everything else. Well, I had shaved the door handles on the one I had. It was one of the things we did. It was lowered on belt on. I think we had Beltex on there anyway. So ironically, it was for sale for like $500. I'm like, that can't be my old one. There's no way that's my old Astrovan. So we go up there. My buddy takes me up there, and sure enough, it's my old Astrovan. I go to register it at DMV after I buy it, and I'm tripping that it's even mine. I'm like, what? After how many years? There's no way this is mine. I go to DMV. DMV voids the sale tax because I already was the previous owner to the Astrovan. So it's proof in the pudding. It was great. I was like, dude. It was sick, man. It was crazy. So, Justin, I know what you mean about buying or finding or having your old vehicle back, the one that you kind of missed. And I did miss that Astrovan, man. We used to throw parts in that thing. We didn't care, you know what I mean? It was, I love Astrovans, man. I love all that. So it was dope, dude. But yeah, so I'm glad you got your Dodge, your crew cab back, man. It looks sick, dude. It does. It's hands down. Dodge is just the way to go. So. Tell Just Trucking to freaking polish those rims. Well, in order to polish them, he's got to sand them down first, including the tanks. Could Justin do all that? It's the wintertime. Is there work and money right now for him to do that? No, it'd make no sense to do it. Do I think he should? Sure. But Justin's really not. I mean, if you watch his channel, he's not about, having the cool W900 that's all slammed to the floor and, polished up. And sure, it doesn't mean he doesn't want that. But I think he's more interested in his family and what he does at home. And as long as and how the truck runs as a business, that's more important than any other aesthetics that you can put on the vehicle, right? But it looks good just stock the way it is. And I can't believe I'm even saying that. But I do like I love a W900. You can't, W900 all day long, every day. I mean, that's just my go-to truck if I ever had a hood truck. And again, I do like hood trucks, but I appreciate the plastic truck era and the plastic truck mafia that we're doing now with Aerodyne, because unfortunately, it's just where we're at in today's market. What rain? Oh yeah, a couple days ago. Yeah. Astrovans are just dope, man. Man, remember at Rezo? I don't know. Justin? Did you ever go to Rezo up at Blythe? Oh my god, dude. It was Astrovan City. Shave this, body drop, laid out on 20s. I mean, that was the ish back in the early 2000s, man. We were the river runs. Oh my god, dude. Severed ties used to negative camber had the dopest one, that sliding rag that was all the way across from the top all the way back. It was like a 72-inch rag or like 80-inch sliding rag. It was sick, dude. It was a white one, I think, with orange. It was like a creamsicle. It was, oh my god, dude. Shave this. The license plate in the back of the door was that, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, it was a big deal to inbox all that and have it like Frenched in at an angle on one of the doors or just shave the doors altogether. And we used to do them at Firestone Speedway too, out in Chandler. At not Good Guys. What was the show? Oh, I can't think of it now. Who put on that show? Oh man, it's bugging me. Not Street Source Magazine. Who the hell put that show on? Anyway, they used to do it I think it was every February where the water where the boat races are out at Firestone out there. And I think the casino renamed that now. I don't even think they call it Firestone anymore. But yeah, those were the days. I had my 64 Suburban back then. That was dope. Yeah, Astrovans are just, dude, hands down, just dope. Yeah, I think we'd all like a good deal on a W9 for sure. Ed. Let's see. I rented an Astrovan back in '91 for a family trip to Outer Banks. Well,